Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the 19th episode of the Sporting Updates podcast. Happy New Year to you all. I hope you all had a fantastic and wonderful holidays. I am your host, Sam Fonseca, and today I'm joined by my three co-hosts as always. First up, Steph. How you doing today, Steph? Steph. Okay, I'll get back to Steph in a minute. Yeah, that game took too much out of him. Okay, first co-host then is Danny. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. How's your ACL doing, by the way? Just to let the viewers know.
It's getting better. Less pain on it. I'm finally off the drugs, which is a good thing. But
no, drugs
slowly but surely. Yeah.
For some, Bruno. For some. Is Steph back yet, Steph? Nah, still asleep.
I don't know. His wife probably came or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so I'll move on to our guest today, who is Bruno. How are you doing, Bruno?
Depressed, but most of all, really, really just pissed off by the lack. Looks like Spartan stayed in 2017, man. Doesn't look like we made it to 2018.
That I can agree with you on. While we wait for Steph to get back, I'll just read out the starting lineup. There's going to be no questions or anything today. It's probably going to be a long episode because there's the four of us talking about today's game, and it was a very eventful game. So, anyway, the lineup was as followed: Patricio in goal, Cristiano Piccini, Jeremy Mateu, Sebastian Coates, Fabio Coentrao, Rodrigo Battaglia, William Carvalho, Bruno Fernandes, Acuna, Gelson Martins, and Bastos. And obviously, this game ended in a 1-1 draw. Gelson Martins and Jonas scoring the goals. And Bruno Cesar came on for Marcos Acuna and Brian Rees came on for Gelson. So, I'll give this one to Danny first. What did you think of the game today?
The game was horrible, to be honest with you, on our point of view at least. Very few chances created from us. Defending was shambolic most of the time. Players that, we were constantly praising and constantly saying how great of a player they are for us or what a great signing they were for us and all of that bullshit. I don't know if they just forgot who they were or something. Benfica were dominant, surprisingly, because over the last few years, especially under Rui Vitória, they usually tend to play a more pragmatic game against the bigger teams. Today was not the case. So credit to them. They deserve some praise as well because they played honestly fantastic. This is the best I've seen Benfica play in at least 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, and that's saying something. And they've been champions for the last 4 years, which is crazy. We were bad. They were great. Credit to them. Luckily, we got out with a draw. We got a goal from Gelson, a great header, a good play from Acuna and Coentrão. They got a goal from a penalty from Battaglia sticking out his arm. Well-deserved penalty. Jonas, put it in the bottom corner. That's his first goal against Sporting, which is, for a goal scorer like Jonas, that's you think he'd have more against us, but he doesn't. And yeah, it was a miserable game for me to watch because my balls were at my heart the whole game. No, my balls were in my mouth the whole game.
I was gonna say
that's the saying I'm looking for. That's the saying I'm looking for. Yeah, no, fuck. Anyways, terrible game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on everything you said. Really, the only player I thought who showed a bit of desire, a bit of aggression in that game was Coentrão. He gave 110%, man. He didn't stop running. Even at the start of the game when Salvio took him out, you knew it was going to be one of those games where it's going to be him was going to battle with every Benfica player. The Benfica fans obviously weren't too kind to him, throwing all sorts at him, which hopefully will result in a ban or a fine. Because that, we saw paper on that, but there was that one where Coentrão went down holding his ankle. I think the English commentator said he got a coin thrown at him. So obviously, for the safety of Coentrão, that's just too far. It's just a game. Relax. This is what I'd say to those idiots throwing stuff at him. But that being said as well, Gelson and Bruno Fernandes were the only other ones I could be like, well, they had a decent game. They both could have done a lot better. But, you know, everyone else, even usually you guys know how much I rate Matteo and Coates, but today they were awful. Patricio kept them in the game. Piccini with that off the line clearance as well, which was you know, last ditch fantastic. Like when I saw it, I was like, okay, Jardel obviously going to score, but Piccini managed to get his head to it, which that was probably the best thing he did all game. He didn't really have much to do, like much that I saw, apart from that run near the end of the game where he took on those two Benfica players to try to cross it into Dost, but he got blocked. And one thing I want to talk about this game as well is about Dost, and I think it's credit to him because obviously, we all know that's not a game Dost is suited to. Dost needs to cross into the ball, cross into the area, and he needs to get his head on that. In a game like today, we needed Dumbia, we needed Podence, we didn't need Dost, we didn't need Brian Ruiz when he came on, we didn't need Bruno Cesar at all. We didn't need those two players at all to come on the pitch. They should have just stayed at home, honestly, because Dumbia needed to come on fast. Podence needed to come on fast. Even if he bring on Bruno Cesar, I can sort of understand because he's got a good shot on him, he's got a good cross. But when they take Faja and they've taken Ruben Dias off, they're literally left with Jardel. Jardel is slow. Bring on someone who is good on the counter-attack, which is Dumbia and Podence, not Dost, not Brian Ruiz. Even if you left Acuna on and Chelsea on, they probably still would have been better on the counter-attack than Brian Ruiz and Bruno Cesar. That is the worst tactics I've ever seen from George Jesus. And another thing as well. So 86th minute, we have two corners. Instead of holding the ball in the corner to see out the game, why did we take those two corners? That is the one thing. No, that is more than one thing I don't understand. Because we needed to keep that. We knew that they were going to keep attacking us because they brought on Jimenez, they brought on Rafa, they brought on that João Cavalli, they brought off their defenders and their midfielders. They went all out attack. So I don't understand why we didn't park the bus. Why we didn't hold the ball up in the corner with someone like Dost, who's big, or Battaglia, or even someone like Coates or Mateu, someone that has the strength to hold off the Benfica players. Instead, we take the corner and look what happens. It goes down the other end and gets a penalty, which, to be fair, obviously, I am a Sporting fan, but Battaglia was stupid putting his arms up in the air. It was either going over or Patricio had it covered. And that for me ruined, I wouldn't say I was surprised when they scored, but it was just still such a heartbreaking moment for me. Just as soon as that ball went in, I was just like, oh, that's it, 1-1. And it could have even been 2-1. Benfica had a lot of chances after that as well. So, yeah, poor game, poor tactics, poor management. Steph, are you back? Do you want to give your take on the game?
Yes, I'm back. Shit, I don't even know where to start, man. Today I was totally disappointed because Benfica did outplay us, not just by a little, but by a lot. And when it's like that, it's very disappointing because we know that Sporting can play well, has done so against Barcelona and Juventus. And I don't see the point of scoring a goal and then dropping the whole team back. And then we suffer until the end. It makes no sense to me. If we have a good enough team to go after the 2-0, let's go for the 2-0. So a very disappointing game. I blame JJ on this one, not so much the players, because tactically he has to counterattack Rui Vitoria's tactic, which today Rui Vitoria was better. He placed a better team on the pitch. They outplayed Sporting. By far, they had so many chances of goal, I lost count. I mean, we had maybe 3 good ones, always by Gelson Martins. But other than that, it's if we want to be champion of Portugal, we can't be afraid of playing in a big stage like Stade de Luz. We still have to go to Dragão on the second half of the Liga NOS. So if we're going to play like that in Dragão, I don't know. I don't think we'll win at all. Then the substitutions, 2 out of 3 didn't make any sense. Like, why not use Podence? Why not use Dumbia? I mean, they have slow center backs, so and they took off Ruben Diaz at one point, so that would be the checkmate to put Podence and Dumbia into the game, and take off possibly we took off Gelson Martins, so Podence could have gone to his place, and we could have taken off Bas Dost and then put Dumbia into the game. This is not really a game for Bas Dost. It's really hard for him to play these kind of games on counterattack, but it's perfect for Dumbia. So he has shown on the Taça da Liga and Taça Portugal that he can play well in combination with the Gelson Martins in the counterattack mode. So very disappointing that we fans think this way, and then JJ totally thinks a different way. And I don't know. The tie is still a good score. We could have lost easily, but I'll take it. Now we 2 points behind Porto. Porto won today at Feirings. They barely won too. They got lucky, but we in second place still. So it's still the same 3 teams in the race for the title of Liga NOS. So we still have a lot of games left, and which is a good thing. 16 more games. So and that's all I gotta say. I was expecting more from Sporting, and I'm very disappointed today. That's all.
All right, Bruno, what are your thoughts on the game today?
Well, I going into the game, I expected a strong Benfica for maybe the first 20-25 minutes of the match, just because they were the home team.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't expect them to be so good for 90 minutes, man. They were absolutely phenomenal. They controlled the midfield. I thought our midfield didn't show up at all whatsoever. Rui Vitória outcoached Jorge Jesus, which I can't believe I'm saying, but he did. And honestly, I know, Steph, you were saying that we were playing the counterattack after the first goal, but I felt like we were kind of playing counter throughout the whole game, really. I felt like that was JJ's tactics coming into the game. He wanted to play not to lose. And I'm just disappointed, man, because this is the second game now. The first game against Porto, we didn't show up either, and we were at home. And now going away to Benfica, which, we've won there before with JJ. We won there, what was it, 3-0 a couple of years ago. So it's not something that's new. It's not something that's crazy. You know what I mean? So to see the team just play with no emotion either, like, how do you not get up for a game like this? Other than Coentrão was probably the only player on the field that I saw the most passion from. Other than that, though, man, everyone was kind of just at a standstill, no emotion, and just honestly a pathetic display.
Fair enough. Instead of doing the ratings things, we will get to that in a minute, but I just wanted to split this up into a few different sections because we still got a lot of time. And the 3 different sections I wanted to split up were tactics, referees, and then just performance, which we just did. So I'll move on to the referee side quickly, and I'll give this one to Steph first. What did you think of the referee and the VAR this game? Because it was pretty much the storyline throughout.
Well, Hugo Miguel actually he had a good game today. I watched the whole game on Benfica TV, and the commentators, believe it or not, they were pretty good. They were neutral. They called the game the way it was, and on the so-called offside of the first goal by Gelson Martins, even BTV said that was an extremely hard call to make. If he was offside, he was by a foot or by a half a foot, and they said in the VAR, so people can understand, if there's a doubt, even with the VAR, so the call from the referee, that's the one that stands. So they don't have lines in the VAR. The lines you see on TV calling it offside, they have no such thing on the VAR. That's not allowed. So that's why it's so much more difficult for the VAR referee to call it the way we see it at home. but besides that, Hugo Miguel, he did an extremely good job. Didn't show a lot of yellow cards. He just showed a couple. So he let the game be the game, let the players play the game, and I like that. So for the first time, I didn't see a whole bunch of goddamn yellow cards and then potentially red cards. And the yellow cards he showed, they were deserving of yellow cards. So I think he was under control of the game. The questionable plays that the Benfiquistas, we all know, they will complain about. They have no grounds for that. The PK they claiming with Fábio Coentrão, that hit his face. You just have to chill and look at your own channel, BTV. Even the commentator said after looking at the play 4 or 5 times, we indeed see that he hit his face. So that was not a PK at all. The one on the other PK they claiming it's the one on Piccini. That's not a PK either. The one on Bataglia, yes, that's a PK. I mean, I hate to say it, but Bataglia jumped the gun. He didn't trust Rui Patricio, basically. So I applaud the performance by Hugo Miguel and the VAR referee and his team. I think they played quite well today. It was a very difficult game. It's a derby. It's the best derby in Portugal. There's no derby like this one. So we always going to get questionable plays like today. But still disappointing at JJ going off track a little bit because we were in this position because of him, because he didn't give confidence to his team. If we can match Benfica game for the game, then go for the win. Don't be. We look like fucking chickens, and that's not what I want from Sporting. I wanted the dominating Sporting, not being afraid to win 1, 2, 3, nothing. Just like Manchester City, they're full of confidence in England, playing on a rotation of 3 days, and every game they give it all. That's what I'm expecting from Sporting, confidence, and we lacked of that today. But really, 2 thumbs up to Miguel and the VAR. I think they played well today.
I agree with you in the majority of what you said, but I do think if the tables were turned, that maybe for the Piccini handball, I would say that was. I know it was going wide, but that was clear as day. And the Coentrão one, yeah, whatever they say is obviously not a penalty. But even the Acuna one, me and Steph had this. I saw you were talking about it to a Benfica fan about the line that the centre back wasn't in line. So I don't know where that line's come from because I actually agree with you on that. But I do think the referees could have done a bit better in that game. I feel like he could have gave more. I know you said that was a good thing that he let the game flow, but some of the fouls that I think the majority of Benfica players did weren't ruled in yellow cards. Even at the start, I think it was Salvio on the Coentrão. He had no intention to play the ball there. That should have been. I reckon that if I referee that, I would have gave a yellow card in that situation, even though it was 2 minutes in. But when you have no intention to play the ball and just go for the player, that's automatically a yellow card. But other than that, I feel like the referee was good. The VAR, made correct decisions, even though Benfica appealed for handball every single play. So, yeah, the referee, you gave 2 thumbs up. I'll just give him 1 for now. But Danny, what did you think of the referees in this game?
Yeah, I think I agree with what both of you guys said. I think he did a really good job today. Better than what I thought. VAR was, for the most part, on top of everything. I think they got everything right. I don't think Acuna was offside at all. I don't think the handball on Coentrão was a handball. It hit his face, and then the handball that did count was actually a penalty, and it was a deserving handball. The Piccini one was, like you mentioned, it was a tough one to call because at one angle for sure it looks like a handball, and then there's another angle, and even the commentators at Benfica TV, who I know Steph was saying they were calling it how it is. I didn't hear that at all, but they were saying that another angle, it kind of looks like it hit his chest. So it was a tough decision for them to make, and in those cases you have to go with what the referee called. You can't overturn it or anything, right? So I'm actually surprised. He had a really good game, a really fair game, and yeah, for him and the VAR. 2 thumbs up, I guess.
Fair enough. Bruno, what do you think of the referees in this game?
Yeah, so before I get into the referees, I just want to say something. To the Benfica fans crying on Twitter about the calls not going your way, shut the hell up. I think it's the funniest thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Because against the Porto match, they were like, oh, they didn't call this, they didn't call that, like, get over it, whatever, quit crying. Well, guess what, Benfica fans? Quit fucking crying. It's the same shit. It's the same damn thing. So, yes, maybe there were a couple of calls that didn't go their way, but a majority of the time, Benfica gets those calls, okay? And I think it was like what Steph said, with everything being, put out on the media about them apparently buying games and this and that. I feel like it did impact this game. I felt like the refs, maybe that's the reason why we didn't see as many yellows or as many fouls, go their way. I thought the ref did good. I agree with you guys. I don't think Acuna was offsides, and if he was, it was a toe. And it's too damn hard to call, in real live action. You know what I mean? The Pacini one, I think it was 50-50. That's a 50-50 call. And the going thrown one, it hit his face. So I thought the ref was good. I actually like it when the refs don't show yellows. I'm with Steph because we all know it's a derby match. We all know it's going to be very, very intense. So to see the game just flow, I thought it was great. I just wish I feel like it could have just been such a better game if Spartan didn't play this counterattack. I mean, I feel like this would have been the game where we could have easily won because the ref wasn't giving yellows, man, and it was just letting the game flow. And I felt like that could have been an advantage that Spartan just simply didn't use this game.
Yeah, fair enough. We all pretty much had the same points there. Moving on to the tactics, I'll start this one off because, I was not happy at the end of this game. The start of this game, you see the team sheet, you're like, okay, that's good. Me and Danny were saying before the game that maybe Podence should have been playing because Podence have been in great form recently. So if I had to critique the starting lineup, I'd put Podence in there. But what was there, I wouldn't change. But the substitutions. So we wait to the 75th minute to bring a fast striker, or not. We didn't even bring a fast striker on. To bring Bruno Cesar and Brian Ruiz, and we've said it before. Doumbia and Podence should have came on, But he waited so long to make that first substitution. Battaglia was gassed, Acuna was gassed, Gelson was gassed, Dost was gassed. All these players were gassed before, let's say, the 70th minute. They needed to come off way before the 75th. Sorry. There's also, like we said, Brian Ruiz. That substitution still gets on my nerves. That makes no sense whatsoever. You can see the Bruno Cesar one. He's got a good cross. He's got good shooting. He will add something to the game. Brian Ruiz would literally. Did he even touch the ball at one point? I don't remember. That's how irrelevant he was to this game.
He's fucking dog shit. He's been dog shit. I don't know why that dude's still on my team, but continue.
Yeah, that's what I understand as well. Why was he? Okay, if he's going to bring back, play him in a Taça da Liga, Taça de Portugal, whatever, like we've been doing. Don't bring him on in games like this where it's crucial that we win, crucial that we get 3 points. Because, obviously the Taça Liga, I want to win, Taça de Portugal, I want to win. But don't get me wrong, any day I would rather take a win over Benfica in an important league game than, I don't know, some stupid league, championship side in the Taça League or Taça de Portugal. That are the games Brian Ruiz should be playing, and Adam Ruiz and all the bench players. But for games like, I know Doumbia hasn't been performing as well as we hoped, but he's still a fantastic striker, and he still, to his credit, has scored a decent amount of goals in appearances. Podence is obviously, we all know about him. Yuri wasn't even on the bench today, but that is also someone who you could say would have changed this game with his pace. But no, Georgie, I saw a tweet actually. Let me get it up from, I believe it was from Anthony Menez. He tweeted me about Georgias because I made a comment on saying that he's stupid that he didn't bring those two players on. And let me just wait for my computer to load because it's going very slow. He said, hold on. He said when it loads, there we go. He said he's always trying to invent shit because he's hard-headed and he thinks he's a coaching genius. Sorry, that was from Johnny Signedo. And for me, that sums up George Jesus. He always tries to invent stuff. Why is Brian Ruiz playing as like a holding midfielder centre mid? That's not where his position is. Why is Bruno Cesar playing on the wing when you've got Podence on, who is fast and he's literally definition of a winger, fast and can cross the ball and can take players on? That is that is what I don't understand for George Jesus. I honestly think that if you're looking at that from Bruno Di Cavallo's perspective, you're thinking, what has he done? Why has he made these substitutions? And if I'm Potenza Dumbia, I'd be furious on the bench. Why have you brought on these two players instead of me? I can change the game. Them two are just, Bruno Salazar, okay, but Brian Ruiz literally, he didn't deserve to be, I don't even think he deserved to be on the bench for that game. But yeah, who wants to go next on the tactics front?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Bruno.
All right. So yeah, I thought it was a complete and utter crap display from JJ and his invitations, however you want to call it. But I don't like playing counterattack. I felt like he tried to be Jose Mourinho Jr. is probably the best way I can put it. It looked like we were playing like Manchester United, except a lot worse. It was just pathetic, man. And like I was saying, Brian Ruiz to me is not a player who should be on Sporting. I'm sorry, but I don't see it. It was like Sam said, did he even touch the damn ball? Because I honestly don't remember. And when you have Pudence, who's been putting in these superb performances, I mean, that's got to hurt his confidence a little bit, right? I mean, it's a big game, and instead you're going to put in Brian Ruiz. I mean, come on, common sense. I mean, even Doumbia, hell, put Doumbia in. But no, it's Brian Ruiz. I don't understand it. The Brun Cesar one, yeah, fine, I guess it makes sense. But even then, I'm not that huge of a fan. And I feel like this January we need to bring in players, man. I know we have Weldon coming, so that'll be nice because we'll have another option on the wing. But I think we need another midfielder and definitely another striker. If we're gonna compete for the league, we definitely need to be active in the January transfer market. Again, JJ bombed this one. I think he thought it was going to be easy. He probably thought that Benfica were going to sit back, but no, it turned out to be the other way around. We sat back and Benfica did whatever the hell they wanted to us. They were our daddy today, as hard as that is for me to say. They were.
Yeah, just before you go, Steph, I just want to add to the point as well that Brian Ruiz didn't deserve to be on the bench over Yuri. Even Chico Childs, I know he's on loan, but he deserves to be there than Brian Ruiz. And even some of the B, I'd rather stick a B team player on there, to be honest, than him, because Brian Ruiz does not deserve to be in a game like that. But Steph, anyway, go on.
Okay, so basically we're talking about the tactics used by JJ. He used a 4-4-2. So, and then Rui Vitória did the same thing. He used a 4-4-2 initially. So basically, both teams were matching each other, and they were respecting each other from the get-go. And what upset me the most about this game is we have fast players. We have Doumbia. We have Podence, and I just don't get it. Why he didn't use those two outstanding players especially when Benfica went on a defensive mode of 3 defenders. They finished with 3 defenders at the end, so we didn't take advantage of that. We showed that we were afraid of conceding a goal, and we did concede a goal. It was a dumb move by Battaglia because you have to trust your goalie. They shot the ball, and he played goalie. That was a clear penalty in favor of Benfica, no doubts about that. But Rui Patricio, he had it under control. About Brian Ruiz, I don't know. I mean, I hate to disagree with you guys, but he came in at the 84th minute, so he didn't really have a huge impact into the game. We didn't tie because of him. Does he deserve to be in the final squad list? No, I don't think so too. We have better players in the B team, youth that actually could have a better impact. But he chose him. But I don't think in this game that Brian Ruiz was at fault. I would have chosen Podence or Doumbia instead of him, but that was not the case. I have no clue why JJ insists in having these bonehead moments. Again, the tactic, we've used this tactic before. I think this is the one we use the most. I don't know. It's just I think it's sometimes the coach giving the wrong message to the players.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say I don't think we can be Portuguese champions playing counterattack for the remainder of the season. If we keep getting a lead and then sitting back, we're gonna suffer. And I honestly don't think we're gonna be able to win the league with those type of tactics.
I agree.
We only can't do it because we always concede late. But if you think about it, Benfica the last 3 years have been champions over counterattacking. The only difference is they knew how to at least defend the lead, and we can't do that for shit. We've seen that against Benfica today. We've seen it against Juve. We've seen it against Barcelona. We always concede late, and that's our biggest issue.
Yeah, indeed.
We just need to stop doing counterattack. Just stop. Just keep going. Don't stop, because clearly it's not our strength. I think our strength is when we're playing attacking full throttle. I think that's when Sporting's at its best, not this counterattacking BS that I've been seeing.
But if you want to play counterattack, it's not with Bas Dost and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
They're not that fast. So if you want to play counterattack, has to be players like Dumbia and Podence. And he could have done those moves if he wanted to. Podence has got much better defending. Dumbia is kind of a little bit, lazy when it comes to that. But we could get away with that. But the counterattack we played today was bullshit. We played a counterattack with two slow. I mean, not slow, but they're not that fast. Bruno Fernandes and Bas Dost. So we're not even good with that shit. And the tactic was okay. It's the same one we've been using before. But I agreed with Bruno. We're not going to win the league if we score one goal and drop our lines. No, go after the second goal, goddammit. We have a good enough team. Like we say in Portuguese, a melhor defesa é o ataque. Se a gente está a jogar o ataque, o Benfica não tem a bola, caralho. And that's what drives me nuts. If we contain the ball and we put Benfica against the wall, then we could have gotten the second goal. But it was the opposite. We scored the goddamn goal. I think it was too early to score. We should have scored late in the second half. And because every time we score early, we drop the lines and we end up tying the game and losing the game. I was afraid they would score in the overtime, to tell the truth.
Yeah, they almost did in the extra time.
Yeah, go on, Danny. What were you going to say about the tactics in this game?
No, you guys basically hit the nail on the head. My only thing as well with why is Brian Ruiz making the squad and not somebody like João Pelinha? If we want to really defend the lead towards the end, if that's what we're doing, which I'm not totally against, I don't mind pragmatic football. I mean, that's how Portugal won the Euros. You know what I mean? That's what made Mourinho. I'm not totally against. I don't mind it. I actually like games like that. I don't mind sitting back and defending. One, as long as we're defending properly. The players weren't doing that. Mathieu looked like the Mathieu that we were waiting to come from Barcelona, because he was all over the place. Coates almost scored two own goals for us. He looked better than Jonas this game. The tactics were terrible. And then the worst part about it is we're sitting back on the 20th minute. Once we score the goal in the 19th minute, the 20th minute, we really dropped our lines.
Yep.
Which, to me, that's annoying, because you don't defend a 1-0 in the 20th minute. You defend a 1-0 towards the 60th, 70th, 80th minute. I'll agree with that. Okay, fine. At the 20th minute, that's unacceptable. You can't do that. Jorge Jesus has to realize that he is not a pragmatic manager. He's never been a pragmatic manager. When he came to Sporting in the beginning, it was very evident that our defense was shaky, but our attack was incredible with Slimani, with Teo Gutierrez, with Monteiro, etc. Our attack was incredible. The way he came to Sporting and transformed that attacking mentality to us is huge. And he needs to realize that. He needs to realize he's a good attacking manager. He knows how to set up teams really well on going for it, on cutting on cutthroat football. He's not pragmatic at all. And that's basically it. We got the tactics totally wrong today.
I just want to add one more thing. Well, it's more of a question to all of you, and it's one that I saw on Twitter was causing a big debate, and it's what I mentioned earlier about playing in that when we had those corners in the 86th and the 87th minute. What would you guys do? Would you guys go for the second goal, or would you guys do what I said and get someone like Bastos or Coates and Matei to hold the ball in the corner?
Well, at that point in the game, playing how we were playing, I would have sat my ass right in that corner and held the ball as long as I could. So now I wouldn't have taken the corner.
There was a point where Piccini sort of made the run and he was about to cross it in, but then hesitated and decided to get it off to Grimaldo, where I was yelling for him to cross it in because a 2-0 was a lot better than a 1-0 or a potential at least. He could have at least had a decent delivery. So I would have, in that play at least, I would have went for it. In other plays, I would have held it up for sure. Like actually, no, I would have went for it on that try at least. Yeah, there was no other thing I was talking about. I would have went for it.
Fair enough. Steph, what do you think?
I would have gone for the goal. I mean, a football game means to win, not to tie, not to. I would have gone for the goal. Again, a very disappointing game. You go on Twitter, you see a lot of reasonable Portuguese, criticizing our team. It's something that Benfica will never do, or Portuguese, because they're too full of themselves. They would never say, "Oh, we had a bad game." They would say, "Oh,
it's the refs. The refs had a bad game."
Well, that's the difference between the refs in 2017-18 and the refs in 2016-17, 15-16, 14-15, because they were under control of Benfica. Now they're under investigation, so the referees they playing cautiously. That's what's going on. The referees they under investigation now, so they're more cautious in with certain calls, because I have no doubts in my mind if this was the season of 2016, the 16-17, those three handballs that the Benfica are complaining about, they would have been penalties a few years ago. Yep. Last year and 2 years ago and 3 years, that would have been penalties. But now, since they are on the investigation, they're not calling them. So Benfica played better, no doubt. They actually deserve to win today's game. But they're not going to get those calls, those cheesy calls, doubtful calls they used to get all the time. And that's why Benfica is crying like little babies.
Because, well, I don't know, man. I wouldn't say they wouldn't get the calls, man, because I'm sure they will. I'm sure this will get swiped under the rug. Nothing happened, nothing to see here, and we'll start seeing those same BS calls again.
Yeah, but not on big game stage, the stage of big games. But that's the difference between last year and this year with the referees.
Yeah. On to the next thing, which was the player ratings. Now, I want to change this up a bit because I don't think we have time to go through every single player. So what I wanted from you guys, I wanted your worst performer, the player who you thought was average but could have done better, and your man of the match. And I'll start off with Bruno.
Oh, death.
All right, so
worst performer, you give up you?
To me, the best performer, without a doubt, had to be Coentrão. Obviously, his cross to Gelson was perfect. And he was the only, like I said, he was the only player on the pitch that seemed to really give a crap about what was going on. And it seems like he was the only guy that actually wanted to play. As far as my worst player on the pitch, I don't know. Probably Coates.
It could be more than one if you want.
It honestly, I'll put the whole damn team other than Coentrão and maybe Gelson. Maybe Gelson gets a pass just because he scored, but like I said, I feel like Gelson could have buried the game in the first half had he scored that one-on-one, and I think that's something he needs to practice and get better at. But with that being said, man, I think the two center backs, I think Mateu and Coates, were bad. They were not what we've used to seeing. Coates, like you said, could have scored 2 own goals. So I think we were very fortunate to walk away from this game with a draw.
Fair enough. Danny, like I said, it could be more than one, but who is your worst, average, and best player?
Okay, so my best player, I'll agree with Bruno. It's going to be Coentrão. My average player will be Gelson, because the goal was a really well-worked goal. He did work his socks off. He came back on defense, and he did well on attack.
I didn't know he had hops, man.
Yeah, bro. You see that header? He looked like Bas Dost. I don't know if he's been practicing.
He looked like Dwayne Wade going up for a dunk, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah. For real, I was surprised with the header. He did well though. There was one play where he absolutely killed Grimaldo, and then he got the cross off. And I mean,
Yeah.
lucky for Benfica, there was a defender just in front of Bas Dost, so he did play well. Piccini also had his moments, and the two average player spots. And then for worst players, it's everybody but the three, because honestly, they were terrible. Mathieu was terrible today. Coates was terrible today. William, who again also had his moments, but for the most part, he was terrible today. Blocked towards the box, luckily for us, but nonetheless, he was terrible today. Battaglia praised this whole season. I've even said he's our best midfielder, or the best purchase we made in the summer. Today, it didn't look like that. Today, he was awful from the get-go, all throughout the game, and then of course gave us that penalty. Actually, he didn't do too bad, but when he didn't do enough. So yeah, he was also awful. Everybody, Acuna didn't want to pass the fucking ball. That's my awful players, all of them.
All right, Steph.
If it was player ratings, they would give a bunch of zeros. I've already given out a bunch of tens one episode. This episode, I would have also given out a ton of zeros.
Negatives, man. Negatives.
God damn, your ACL is kicking ass, huh?
They could have put me in the game. I would have done more than Brian Ruiz.
Oh man, Pots great. Wallen Ruiz, he just played for 6 minutes, bro. Keep that in mind. Brian Ruiz.
I don't care.
Yeah, but anyway, so let me give you my 2 cents. I think the best player was Steph Teixeira. What a player, bro! He was a little
Probably would have done better than Brian Ruiz, to be fair.
Cara, tá calado, meu. Com aquela barriga e o caralho. Anyway, I think the best player for me, of course, I agree with all of you guys, Fábio Coentrão, hands down. The worst players for me was William Carvalho, Battaglia, and Acuna. We lost the midfield. If this was like the Third World War, we would have lost the goddamn war. William Carvalho, Battaglia, and Acuna, I think they had too much fun on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because they were not themselves at all. And then if we lose the midfield, we put the pressure on our defenders. And that's why I'm not excusing them, but that's why Coates and Mathieu, they didn't play so well because we lost the midfield. So now they're getting double the pressure. At one point, they were the midfield. Coates and Mathieu. It was just we left like with a big hole, the big goddamn hole. I was like, what kind of fucking midfield do we have today? There's nobody there. Nobody was running. They were those 3 players. I agree with Denny. Acuna, he was holding on to the ball too much. This is professional players, man. And every time they took a shot, it was like a field goal. I'm like, I don't get this. Even us at the park, we kick better and shit, you know? So
that's how I tore my ACL.
Yeah, that's a bit. Instead of kicking the ball, you kick the fucking turf anyway. But Rui Patricio also, I was disappointed with him because as a goalie, you have to go to the left or go to the right, and he stayed in the middle. I'm like, what the hell was that? I mean, are we going retracting? Instead of becoming better, we're becoming worse. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. Best player, Fábio Coentrão. Worst players, William Carvalho, Battaglia, Acuna. They had a little bit of too much of raposeira, champagne.
Yeah, my best player, of course, was Coentrão, man. Fantastic, even the circumstances, obviously. If he had a bad game, blah, because he was against Benfica in the atmosphere. But no, he was the best player on the pitch by a mile, by 2 miles. There was no one in that game was fit enough to tie his boots. Honestly, that's how. It's either how good Coentrão was or how shit everyone else was. But it's one of those. The worst players for me, I'd say Coates and Dost. And I know Dost, you can't really say it's his fault, but it was like we were playing with 10 men. That he literally contributed absolutely nothing to that game. I don't think he even had a shot on goal. I don't think he had a header on goal. I don't think he actually did anything remotely attacking-wise. And Danny, I think it was you said to me the other day that when Coates scored the own goal, that he didn't look like a patron, he looked like an employee. And that is the perfect description of Coates these last couple of games. I don't know what's happened to him, but he seems to have lost the leadership and the command that he had, and he's making a lot of mistakes which we didn't see in the first half of the season, which is worrying to say to all of us, because the two centre backs, Mateo and Coates, we would say they are some of the best in Europe, the best in the league, and then suddenly they've all like deteriorated. I know Mateo's quite old, but it shouldn't be that much of a drop off in a couple of games. For me, Coates and Dot were the worst performers. The average performer I was between Gelson and Bruno Fernandes. Gelson should have made it 2-0. Bruno Fernandes could have done better with his passing, some of his shot. That shot, to be fair, which I'm not sure if you remember, it was outside the box, but Bruno Varela had it comfortable. I honestly thought that was going in, so I can't really blame him for that, and it was a good strike as well, so fair play to him. And that's, and like Steph said, actually, with Patricio, he's got to dive for that. Every goalkeeper knows that if you're in a penalty decision like that you'll have to dive. And especially with Jonas, he always goes to a corner. I don't think I've ever seen Jonas go down the middle. So for me, it was Patricio. He literally even stuck a hand out, I think, on that left side. Even after he tried to kick the ball, I reckon he might have got a fingertip to it. Might have pushed it away. That annoyed me, and that was a very good point as well, Steph. So,
hey Sam,
hello.
Your mic is acting up big time.
Is it? What's wrong with it?
It looks like it's snowing in England.
It might be. It's very cold.
Yeah. A lot of static.
A lot of static.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. Could you still hear what I was saying now? Yes? No?
Yeah, we heard you. It was just,
Now it's better.
It was just staticky.
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah, it looked like you were in some third world country or something.
Snowstorm. So I believe that's all we have on the game, unless anyone wants to add anything.
God help us. Go ahead.
I can give more credit to Benfica because, they did come and close us down very well, which I think also constituted to us playing bad. But I don't want to really credit them too much, so I'll just leave it there.
I
Steph,
think it was.
anything more? Oh, sorry, Bruno. Go on.
I just seen a tweet and I want to share with you guys because I think it's actually genius. Or not genius, it's actually true. This is probably Benfica's best performance of the season. And it was only good enough to tie against our worst performance of the season.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, good point.
Well, to all fairness, I mean, Benfica missed a bunch of goals. I can remember balls on the post, and Coates almost scored his on a own goal. Yeah, altogether, it was so messy. It's I'm glad the game is over. When I saw 4 minutes of overtime, I was like, oh my God, that's a lifetime. That's a long time. I was locked in my office by myself. My wife is Benfiquista. So I locked her out of my office. And she was upstairs. And then as soon as I came out, what was the result? I'm like, 1-1. I didn't call her bitch, but I almost did. But
I really hope she's not listening.
Nah, she's not listening. Benfica went to caralho também, anyway. She doesn't even know quando Benfica foi fundado, nem guarda-redes, nem o caralho, e depois começa a falar.
That's like my mom, man.
My father-in-law is the same thing. I put them on the spot the other day. We're having dinner with their families and stuff, and friends, and most of them are Benfiquistas. Minha sorte do caralho. And then I'm like, hey, you guys talk a lot of shit, and quando é que o Benfica foi fundado? 1903? Okay, conversation is over. Next. Anyway, so today's game, hands down to Benfica. They played better. But I'm going to quickly just touch up on a few modalidades of sporting that deserve to be spoken about, since today's game was an embarrassment.
Yeah, some good news.
Yeah, some good news. So anyway, really fast, I don't have much anyway, but futsal and our team won again. So So we're in first place, and they've won a total of 63 games in a row. That's something, bro. That's something. Okay, Patins, we're in first place. Our next game will be against Benfica at home, no Pavilhão São Rocha, on the 6th. So it's, I don't know if you guys follow Keeper Teams. I do. I think it's an awesome game.
I watch it from time to time.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I would like you three to actually get into our modalidades. Do you know how many we have, by the way? Let me see if you guys know.
Can you give us a clue?
There's a lot. I can't remember.
Oh,
It's,
that's a good.
For this, espera that I'll get it. Wait.
Yeah, don't
26.
Don't Google it.
I'm going with 26.
No, it's more than 26. I want to say it's 50, but it's more than 50.
I want to say
64?
65.
Okay, I changed my answer. 68.
What is this? The Price is Right?
That's right. The price is right, man.
My God, it's like I'm talking to a bunch of beefy kisses, bro.
How dare you?
That is the ultimate insult. That is.
Wow, that hurt,
The
man.
nerve of this guy.
50
what?
54.
Oh, damn, we
See,
went too high.
64, 54. That's what I meant, man. Foot.
Yeah. So
It's those painkillers. They got to your head.
Bro, I'm taking fucking Percocets, man. Come on.
Out of those 54, the ones that people watch the most, we all in first place. So futsal, we're in first place. Volleyball, we're in first place. Hockey patins, we're in first place. Handball, we're in first place. Our ladies are in first place. Table tennis, we're in first place. And for people to better understand, table tennis is becoming a very strong modalidad. For the first time, we qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League of that modality. So, all I'm saying is, I know Sam just became a socio do Sporting. Am I right, Sam?
You are correct.
Yeah, because I saw you socio 164 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So basically, every time you pay your dues, they go towards the modalidades, and that's why we're so strong, because they invested a lot of money in those modalidades. So congratulations to Bruno Carvalho and his administration. They've done an outstanding job, and we're in first place in all of them. And the sky's the limit. And I'm just expecting. They were talking about Wendell. He was supposed to fly today to Sporting for the medical assessment and sign the contract. I haven't heard anything else because obviously the game was more important. Viento, he went to Valencia. He's no longer coming. Yeah.
I think he screwed up, man. I don't think. I think he's already tried La Liga with Sevilla. I know he got loaned out to Sevilla, and he still couldn't get it done. I honestly thought coming to Sporting would have rejuvenated his career, but his loss.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. And hey, he's lost it big time, and I think he'll be forgotten. We don't give a shit about him anymore.
No,
yeah. Rafinha, apparently, he will be a Sporting player for 5 years, coming July.
End of the season.
Yeah. Then we have
young blood.
Yeah, Ruben Ribeiro. He'll come the 11th of January. He'll play a couple games for Rio Ave, and then he'll come to us. Marcel is no longer a viable option because of the scandal that just blew up on his face.
Yep.
So that's
a shame too, man. I thought he was a pretty good defender. It's a shame.
Yeah, me too. I rate him, but if he was cheating, then obviously, we don't want him anywhere near us for sure. But
no, send him to Benfica. He'll fit right in.
Yeah, indeed. So, any other rumors about transfers? Or?
That Wendell one, yeah. Is that, are we buying him outright or are we getting him on loan?
No, we're buying him.
I heard it's $8.5 million. I think it can jump up to $10 million, but we're getting all of his rights, I believe, because Fluminense is like in need of money, and PSG was actually supposed to pick him up, but PSG wanted to do like installment payments, I think it was, and Fluminense needed the money like right away, so Sporting's pretty much giving them the money.
See,
and
that's
it's
what
also because of financial fair play too, since they bought Neymar.
Yeah, that too. I mean, God, what else do they want to buy?
Yeah, so they couldn't really buy him.
You guys, you're almost correct. Almost. You're 80% correct.
All right, what's the 20%?
This guy sounds like my teacher, man.
I'm sorry.
I don't start university until next week, man. For this.
Oh yeah, dude. I started 3 weeks, man. I still got like 2.5 weeks till I go back.
Must be nice.
Yeah, there's a drug deal going on. So this is what's going on. There's a team.
Wait,
from,
a drug deal?
Yeah.
I want it.
no, I don't do drugs, man.
We here at
they're bad.
Sporting Updates podcast do not promote drugs.
No,
No.
unless
Believe me.
it's
We live
free
a drug-free society. I'm kidding.
Listen, I
Sporting.
don't do drugs at all. I mean, I work for customs, so I'm trying to catch them, if anything.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully I don't run into you.
Yeah. Be careful, bro.
Damn, I ain't coming up there, man. I'm staying the hell away from
And
nowhere.
don't come through Philly. I'll catch you.
No. Maryland's good.
So the apparently a club from Uruguay is going to buy him and then loan him to Sporting.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Uruguay.
Yep. That's
Wait, so we're not even.
Penarol has enough money for Wendell? Yeah, all right.
I'm so confused.
I know.
Wendell so we don't have his rights. He's just being loaned, and that's it.
Well, that I don't know what's going on. I mean, but they're the ones coughing up the 9 millions right away because Fluminense is struggling. The late in paying their players and stuff like that. So the quick deal was to have a Uruguay team buying him and then loaning him to Sporting, and then Sporting will pay them back.
Oh, good God! It's like it is like a drug deal, man.
Yeah. I told you.
No, you were.
I wasn't kidding about that, man. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, as long as he performs and we do pay him at the end, then I'm all for it. However,
I guess we just consider it a loan, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if we eventually pay them back, I guess he's technically going to be ours.
I think we might be waiting for the money from the Champions League.
That makes sense.
Maybe.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, I found the piece of news, so I'm gonna just share with you guys really fast before we. Okay, so a transferência. It's in Portuguese, so Sam, bear with me. A transferência de Wendell será efetuada com recurso a uma parceria entre o Clube Leonino e o Desportivo Maldonado da Liga Uruguai de Futebol. Mas o médio brasileiro de 20 anos vai assinar pelo Sporting em definitivo. De acordo com o Record Sabe, a parceria envolve ainda o Stellar Group. Sim, it's a drug deal. Empresa inglesa que, por exemplo, agência Adrián e Palhinha. Mas o envolvimento desses, assim como o Deportivo de Maldonado, está apenas ligado ao financiamento da operação. So it's all about, paying the whole amount. Por outras palavras, entre as duas entidades suportam o custo da operação, orçamentada em 8,8 milhões de euros, com o jogador a comprometer-se com os Leões para as próximas épocas. O custo da SAD de Sporting na aquisição da Wendell Fluminense é, por isso, diminuto, mas o encargo com os salários fica, como é óbvio, à carga dos verdes e brancos. So basically, it's all about they're gonna pay him off, and then we'll have to pay those guys off. And I'm guessing when we sell him later, then we give them, whatever we owe them, which I don't like it.
Yeah, because I hear he potentially could go for another 50, 60 mil, is what I'm hearing. Because that's how good his potential is.
So you have two agencies involved, Stellar Group and Deportivo Maldonado. You're gonna pay the 8.8 million of euros, and then later when he's sold or something, then Sporting will pay them back, I guess.
So is that it then? Or you got any other news?
No, that's it. That's all I heard. Hopefully we'll get.
I heard Ronaldo might come back in 2020.
Oh God! What?
Is that a serious thing? Actually,
heartstrings like that.
You said 2020 for a second. I was thinking you were gonna say in January. Is that true?
No, not January, man. I'm hoping he comes back. 2020, 2021. He'll probably go do an MLS tour and then come back to Portugal.
2020. I hope so. I mean, I hope so. We've been inviting him. He's been, watching our games and shit. I hope so. I mean, that would be great if he goes to Spartan 2020. It's a guarantee. I'll fly a few times to see him.
Hell yeah.
Depends how broke I am.
Hey, I'll
I'm
pay.
still broke. Staying home.
I'll pay you.
Oh, Kate, I'm going right away.
Is your girlfriend good looking though? No, I'm only kidding.
She is. She is.
That's all I got, guys.
So if I go to Delaware this year, I'm definitely not bringing her on.
Hey, listen, we can swap, man. I don't mind.
I really hope your wife doesn't listen to this step. Honestly, if she chooses one episode to watch, I hope it's not this one.
No, she won't listen to it. She's Benfica, bro.
Fair enough. I couldn't think of a better note.
Up at least.
Couldn't think of a better note to end that
great,
podcast
guys. I feel
on.
better now.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic 2018, and we'll see you later. Cheers.
Viva Spartak.